And here to discuss these developments are CNN's Jim Spellman, who joins us from Kansas City, Missouri, Marcia Clark, author of Guilt by Association, and Tom Ruskin, private investigator and former NYPD detective investigator. Jim, Lisa's parents had been refusing to let the authorities re-question the boys. The boys are 8 years old and 6 years old, and now they are allowing it. So what changed?
Well, they've been under intense scrutiny, Joy, for 3 weeks now to let these boys be re-interviewed. Keep in mind, that evening, Deborah Bradley, the mother of baby Lisa, was drinking. She says she last saw baby Lisa around 6:40. So while she was drinking with a neighbor, those boys were in the house. They could be a vital source of information. And since then, police have gotten over 900 tips that they've been chasing down on this case. Wow. Any info that they can get from the family can help them with those leads, Joy.
But they did speak to the boys already, the cops, the day after Lisa disappeared. So how is this going to be any different from that?
Well, in those 3 weeks, they've done a lot of investigating here, massive search in the house. They've learned a lot, and they're not getting anything from the parents who refuse to be re-interviewed at this point. So anywhere they can get information, they hope to get it. They were only briefly interviewed that night of the disappearance by social workers, not police. Those same social workers will do this interview on Friday, Joy.
But aren't the police all feeding questions to the social workers? So it's sort of like an interview by the police by proxy, isn't it?
It is indeed. The parents, though, tell us that they've been trying to weigh what they say are the needs of the children versus the needs of the investigation of the police. They feel now that the circumstances using these social workers, being assured that it won't be confrontational, they feel more comfortable with it now. That's what we're hearing through their attorneys here, and that's what's given them the go-ahead to feel more comfortable doing this on Friday.
Okay, Tom, isn't it difficult to interview these children? I mean, that's got to be a tough thing.
It's a very difficult thing for a cop and a social worker and a child psychologist to interview children, especially at 8 and 6.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful the way you ask the questions, because you could ask the same child the same question within 15 minutes. They may slightly change it or exaggerate it.
Yeah.
They may have also overheard things by other parents and other adults that they may now repeat. So you have to be very, very careful, and that's why they're using a psychologist and social worker to try and interview these kids.
Marcia, what do you think the authorities can learn from these kids?
Well, you never know what they actually saw or heard, Joy, especially because no questioning that has anything to do with a police perspective has been done with them yet. So it's entirely possible that they did hear noises. They may have heard someone intrude. They may have heard their mother say something. I mean, even though she doesn't remember it, she could have blacked out and lost memory of things. So they could be a fount of information at this point. And because it was only social worker investigation up until this point, like it's social worker kind of questions, that just goes to the welfare of the children and are they okay? Not so much what did you see, what did you hear, and where were you at the time of.
I see. So that's what they'll be doing.
So it could be very good.
Yeah, I say it could be very helpful to the case.
The other thing that's interesting in this case is, did the mother purposely lure the child into the bedroom? How did the child end up in bed? When Jeremy gets home, the father of missing Lisa, he says one of the children was in bed with Deborah.
Really?
Yeah. Why did that child come in? Does the child normally walk in? So this could lead police in a different avenue than before.
Oh, I see. Wow, I didn't know that. The boy went into the bed with the mother.
Well, we don't know. We don't know how he got into the bedroom, but all we know is when Jeremy got home, he was in bed with Deborah.
Which is not the normal thing.
I don't know. I mean, but that's one of the things that police would want to know. How does the children, where were the children put down and how? And the children may shed light there.
Jim, is it true the police are also going to get DNA samples from the boys?
Police tell us this evening that if the family will agree, they will take DNA swabs from the inside of the cheek of these boys. They did this massive search here, a 17-hour search a week ago. They want to be able to eliminate a lot of the DNA that they found in the house. They know that everybody that's normally in that house is going to leave DNA. Every DNA that they can account for helps them eliminate what their DNA that they're tracking that may have come from a stranger in the house.
And now the police also want separate unrestricted interviews with the parents without the attorneys present. Marcia, is that allowed? That sounded strange to me. It's like, without attorneys? I watch Law and Order. You can always say, I want that attorney in there with me. I happen to know this.
And you're exactly right, Joy.
Yes, I am.
And, and you get an A. You get an A in criminal procedure. Okay. And I always advise, everyone, whatever you do, don't talk until you get a lawyer. More people, I think that one thing that the lawyers have said in their comments to the press is that more people find themselves in police custody and then in jail because they talked without a lawyer, because they talked inadvisedly. Now, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're guilty, but that they don't know how to protect themselves and think on their feet in terms of answering police questions in a way that is honest and yet gives the right as opposed to the wrong impression. And so that is why they're insisting on having lawyers present. We all look at it on the outside and we go, wow, they lawyered up. What does that mean? But I do know that these parents have been questioned rather closely from the very beginning. I also know that the mother was confronted with the fact that she took a polygraph, and I think that's actually very significant. I want to point that out, Joy. Yeah. The mother took a polygraph. She is not required to do that. No one is required to do that. It's a voluntary thing. She did it, and then she was confronted by the police by saying that she failed. That doesn't mean she did fail. It could have been a police tactic to get her to admit to something. Oh. But that may be a reason, too, why they're lawyering up. So it's something to think about.
If you say, I don't want to take the polygraph, that makes you look bad and guilty.
No, it doesn't necessarily, and a lawyer may not allow you to. And to carry on with Marsha's point, a lot of times you say, I want an attorney present. Cops don't take that offensively. They shouldn't take it offensively. But what happens is a lawyer will not allow a cop to lead a client down a wrong path. Right. So if they're lying to the client, the lawyer's going to stop the interview because he's not going to allow the police to do it.
Will they turn on each other if they're interviewed separately?
Not if they have an attorney with them. An attorney won't allow them to do that. And especially if at this point in time, there's no reason for separate attorneys. There may become a time that there is.
Now, this baby has been missing for 3 weeks. It's going to be, children change from 1 week to the next.
Correct.
It's going to be very hard to identify this child, found dead or alive.
If the child was legitimately kidnapped, over a period of months, this child is going to change considerably. But if it goes another month or two, the child could start to walk. Well, at 1 year old, it could start to walk.
They do start walking.
Plus, the physical and attributes of the child are going to change, and police are going to have to look at this to possibly find this child if it was legitimately kidnapped.
But they have those people who can draw pictures of you and what you're going to look like. They have techniques, right, Marsha? They have techniques for that.
They do, but nothing's as good, Joy, as the actual appearance at the time. And the more time passes, especially with a young baby, it's a very good point, they change a lot. And walking, etc., it's going to be easier and easier for someone who kidnapped the baby to say it's my baby and have no one contradict that.
Is there any more, maybe Jim knows this, any more information about the surveillance videos, Jim? What these guys, one was carrying a baby with a diaper, another was seen by a video camera just walking in the area. Do we know anything else about that? Because that was very intriguing information.
It is intriguing information, and it certainly fits in the timeline, but the video is very unclear to tell really what's going on in that picture. So we know that they've looked at it, but it's really hard to really gather much information that you could work on off of that. It's a very quiet time of night, around 4 in the morning when that happened. So they're working on it, but there's really not a lot there to work with.
What about the eyewitnesses?
I do want to mention the police here. Well, there's 2 eyewitnesses, at least, that we know of. A couple actually right here around the corner who I interviewed last week, and I thought were very credible, who said they described 12:15, a man in a white T-shirt carrying a baby without clothes, just a diaper on. And the next morning, as soon as this was happening with police in the neighborhood, they came forward. We know they've been interviewed. Joe, I want to just mention one thing. Police here absolutely say at no time have they asked to interview the family without attorneys present. They really shot that down hard. They said they wouldn't even want that at this point because it could jeopardize anything they get out of those interviews.
That's right.
They really push back hard on that.
Okay, thank you guys very much. We'll be right back.